Welcome back to the Common Colt Podcast. We're real Colts fans who give them real takes on Colts news. Hey, we don't get into clickbait. My name is Dan. On the left here, I got Josh. And normally, if you guys are with us, Josh is the one giving the intro, but this dude's fighting off a cold. It's been a rough week here. His voice is a little shaky here. So, Josh, you going to be able to make it here, or am I going to have to do the solo?
Well, I think I've been crying because Anthony Richardson is out. I think he's hurt. So it breaks my heart, and I've been crying. But hey, man, we've got maybe a controversial video coming up here where quarterback controversy, and we're not even making this up because I've seen it on Colts forums. I've seen it on the Twitter sphere, X sphere. I've seen it on Colts groups on Facebook. There's some fans saying, hey, what happens if Gardner Minshew wins a bunch of games? What does this mean for Anthony Richardson this season and his play time? Could he get shut down? Could Minshew ride this thing out? What do you think, Dan?
Oh boy, man! This is not worst news situation for the Colts, but this is not going to be a fun ride. I think here over the next 4 to 6 weeks, with the fact that looking at their schedule, they got some winnable games. We've seen Gardner Minshew play pretty well now against the Ravens, playing pretty well into a emergency backup role, coming in and keeping this offense moving. I actually think the Colts are heading towards a little bit of controversy here. They're going to have a hard decision to make. Say he goes maybe 3-2, even 3-3, or 4-2 over the next games, and now Anthony Richardson's ready to go. What do the Colts do? Do they keep pushing with the hot hand and a guy that could push them to the playoffs, or do they want to get this young guy going? I'm seriously, I think there's going to be a Colts quarterback controversy coming up here shortly.
So you think if the Colts win and they just start winning, that would create the controversy?
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure, Because again, Anthony Richardson has played well. He's looked good, but there's real concerns about his long-term health. The word is out. I saw a report about other executives are talking about him having a short career. We talked about RG3. We talked about some guys that, flash in the pans, but their body couldn't withstand that. And so the Colts are going to be very, very cautious with Anthony Richardson here. And then all of a sudden, if Gardner Minshew is winning games, he's got the locker room. He's got the excitement of the fans. Shane Steichen is putting out great schemes. Jonathan Taylor and Moss are running. And these Colts are in, say they're in first place in their division. I think Anthony Richardson is going to sit, and I think he's not going to be the starter because of Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, I'm going to push back a little bit. I think the Colts could go 3-2. I mean, they play teams like the Panthers, the Saints, the Patriots. Jacksonville's probably their toughest game. But to me, it's how they win. Is Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor going to go off for 200 yards, or is Gardner Minshew going to throw 2-3 touchdowns a game? Think about that Ravens game this year where the Colts won, and me and you were both happy about that win. But after that game, neither one of us was like, you know what, Gardner Minshew was the reason we won that game. In fact, I felt like that game kind of exposed some of Gardner Minshew's limitations. And I think what has protected Gardner Minshew is the fact that teams are still preparing for Anthony Richardson to start games and not necessarily Gardner Minshew. So what I think we're going to see is over 4 or 5 games, a long-term stretch here, teams are actually going to be prepared. And I think we're going to see, I hope it's not ugly, but I think we're going to get more of a real view on who Gardner Minshew really is. Even if it's not in Colts losses, I think his limitations are going to appear. And that's not being able to make the splash play, not being able to create outside of the pocket, not being able to throw the ball down the field. And we're going to see more of that kind of Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz type of offense, which is just a lot of checkdowns with a good running game. And I think...
Wait. Let me push back on you, though. I know you're sick. I don't want to take advantage of you in your state here. But the Colts are sitting here at 3-2 right now.
Yeah.
What percentage do you give Anthony Richardson the credit for their record right now, and what percentage would you give Gardner Minshew the credit for where they are right now?
That's a good question. The win over the Texans, I mean, Anthony Richardson and the defense spotted him a 2-3 score lead. Now the Titans game, They might have lost that game if Anthony Richardson played. I think they might have lost that game.
And think about it. Like, if you look at who is most responsible right now for the Colts record, number one, I'm going to probably say Shane Steichen.
Yep.
Okay, he's number one. Number two, I'm going to say their running game, especially
Yep.
Moss. Number three, I'm going to say their defense. It's probably not till four or maybe fifth that I talk about quarterback.
Yep.
And so I'm not so worried about this season and whether Gardner Minshew or Anthony Richardson is going to be the quarterback, because I think both of them can do it. I think they can carry this going on. The bigger question we got to ask is long term. Okay, we believe Anthony Richardson is the better player. He's going to do more. He's the future. He's what you invest in. But now, where does that investment come into when it might cost you games for this season and a chance to win playoffs? That's going to be the controversy that the Colts are going to have to figure out. Do we sacrifice some potential wins and a playoff berth to develop our young superstar quarterback that we believe in?
So the Colts entering the season, they said, hey, you know what? We're going to play Anthony Richardson. And they knew they were going to be sacrificing some wins probably. Do you think that going into the season, they didn't think they were going to be at this stage? Do you think they were kind of expecting? Every team says that the goal is to make the playoffs, but do you think they were thinking, hey, with Richardson, we're a 3-4 win ball club. With Minshew, we're a 6-win ball club, 7-win ball club. But now you're saying the conversation's turned to, hey, with Minshew, we might be able to push the playoffs. With Richardson, we can't. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, here, because there's no chemistry in the start of the year. They're just coming out of training camp and everyone's fresh. Everyone's just going and they're thinking, okay, Anthony Richardson is going to build the chemistry. Now he's out. Okay. He's not going to build anything. He's not going to practice. He's not going to be able to work with the first team. He's not going to be in game situations, potentially 4, 6, maybe 8 weeks. All of a sudden, Gardner Minshew is now developing that chemistry, that momentum, that team unity. And if he does build it, and again, we're assuming he does in this scenario. If he goes out and they're 1-5, Anthony Richardson is coming back in a heartbeat. But if he goes out there and he starts winning and they start building this chemistry with Gardner Minshew, they know that Anthony Richardson's the future, but they're not going to rush him back because he really hasn't shown us something yet that just says, okay, he is definitely the guy that's going to carry this team into the playoffs this season. He is the future. I'm not knocking Anthony Richardson, but just the way that this has played out, a rookie quarterback missing so much time, missing so much game, now has some injury history. I think the Colts are going to think really hard about who is their quarterback when Anthony Richardson comes back.
Well, for me, I think if Richardson does, if he's a healthy scratch, it won't be because of wins and losses. I think it'll be because, hey, look, your shoulder might be game ready, but it's not 100%. You've played reckless. We're gonna shut you down. We're gonna keep you. We're gonna let you heal all the way. You're our franchise quarterback who hurt your throwing shoulder. Minshew's at least making us not be a joke. We're just gonna lock you down. I think that would be how they handle the quarterback controversy. And Richardson would never be a fully healthy scratch as much as he would be placed on IR for the remainder of the season. And we would never see him being a healthy scratch.
Yeah. Well, what do you think would happen though if they, again, it goes the other way, they don't win it all? Anthony Richardson has, like you say, a shoulder that's ready to go, but it isn't 100%. Do you think they would just shut him down even then and be like, all right, we're done winning, we're tanking, and we're saving our franchise quarterback?
I think there's a lot of possibilities and a lot of discussions being had. And the truth is, I mean, Anthony Richardson's taken some hits, and I think this has got to be a good lesson for him. Physically, he learned now, and mentally, hopefully, when he goes out there 5 weeks in a row and Gardner Minshew's the guy, hopefully it's a good lesson. But look, I mean, the social media has taken off with this idea already, and there hasn't been a game being played yet.
Right.
We're going to learn over time if Minshew comes out and Minshew is throwing dots and he's having a great stat line, I think people's eyes are going to get open. I don't know how likely that is to happen, but it really could spark a controversy. It really could.
Yeah, and again, we're not here to say this is going to happen, that's going to happen. We're not saying this is what they need. We're just saying these are all real possibilities, and we got to kind of get ourselves thinking this might happen, especially if he goes out and beats Jacksonville.
Yeah,
they're sitting at 4-2, 2 big wins off of the Titans and the Jaguars, sitting there in first place. Like you mentioned, the schedule coming up, the Browns they got big questions with with Deshaun Watson there. The Patriots look like a mess. I don't think any of these teams on their schedule coming up are going to be these juggernaut type of teams, and so the Colts might be able to string some of these wins together. And man, it's gonna be wild. I did not ever think this season would go the way that kind of it is going at this
Crazy.
moment. But it's gonna be a wild ride to see what happens.
Hey guys, let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know if we're crazy. We kind of are. Comment below, subscribe. We're so close to 2,000. It would mean the world if you did. Thanks again for watching, guys. I hope you have a great day.